Hi there, how are you? I hope you're doing well. I'm Janet and I'm doing pretty well myself, thank you. I'm here to read you another very special book. This is Mosi Musa. Can you see it right there? It's a true story, a true tale about a baby monkey raised by his grandma. It was written by George Ann Irvine, and this book just won a big award, the Gold Ben Franklin Award for Best Nonfiction Children's Book. Yeah, Georgianne writes a lot of children's books about real animals there at the San Diego Zoo, including this little monkey who has quite a story, which is why she wrote all about the baby monkey that's on its way. Yeah, primate keepers at the San Diego Zoo watched as Louise, a fervent monkey, tenderly cradled a big brown ball in her arms. You can see it right there, right? Louise was expecting a baby any day. Her keepers hoped Louise would be a good mother because she carried the ball with her everywhere, and she cuddled it like an infant. Now, Louise had given birth to a baby the year before, but it didn't survive. The keepers hoped this next baby would be healthy and strong, and before the birth, they moved Louise to the zoo hospital in case she needed help from the veterinary team. And Louise's mother, Thelma, who was also her best friend, went to the hospital too to keep her company. And there's Louise again with that big brown ball that she cradled as if it were her own little baby. So when it was time, take a look at this, when it was time for Louise to have her baby, well, something went terribly wrong with her. The vet knew that if he didn't help Louise, she and her baby might die. Louise was given medicine to make her go to sleep, and then the veterinarian made a small cut in Louise's belly and took the baby out. "It's a boy," he said. Can you see that right there? Wow. Soon after the baby vervet monkey was born, he made cooing sounds. The tiny monkey's heart was beating, but he wasn't breathing yet. A nurse massaged the baby's chest, and after about 20 seconds, he took his first breath. Everyone cheered. And within 7 minutes, the baby opened his eyes, and then the team did a high five. As you can see here, the baby was very, very small. Look at how little he is in the nurse's hand. But so cute. The baby weighed just a little over a pound when he was born. Can you imagine how tiny that little baby monkey was? Wow. Well, here he is, introducing Mosi. The baby was named Mosi Musa. He was placed next to Louise so she could see him as soon as she woke up. Keepers hoped that Louise would accept her new son, but that didn't happen. When she opened her eyes, well, Louise pushed Mosi Musa away. It became clear that she wasn't interested in caring for her newborn baby. That's sad. There's his grandma Thelma right there. Now, Mosi Musa, by the way, means firstborn in Swahili. His nickname is Mosi. Grandma Thelma, right there, was eager to meet Mosi. The first time she saw him, she smacked her lips and reached out to touch him, and that meant she liked him. Yep, that means a good thing. She wanted to hold him close to her. To keep little Mosi warm, he was placed in an incubator where Louise and Thelma could see him. Whenever nursery keepers fed Mosi milk formula from a bottle, they let Mosi's mother and his grandmother watch them. After Mosi finished eating, his keeper gently rubbed his back so he would burp. Yeah, you know, it's very important for human babies too when they drink a bottle to burp because that gets all the air bubbles out and makes them feel good. Now, keepers tried to introduce Mosi Musa to his mom, Louise, several more times over the next couple of days, but she continued pushing him away. Nobody knows why she wasn't interested in her baby. But now they needed a plan on how to raise Mosi Musa without his mother's help. Well, keepers wore gloves and masks. They were very protective. And when they handled Mosi, they wanted to make sure that he didn't get any germs. He was so tiny. The animal care staff came up with a solution, by the way, to make sure that Mosi was cared for. Let his grandmother, Thelma, raise him. She would be there to cuddle him and protect him just like a monkey mother would do. And she would also teach him about life as a monkey. But she would need some help from the keepers, especially while Mosi was tiny and still needed to nurse. since Grandma Thelma couldn't nurse him herself. You can see that he's so tiny that he needed a lot of help yet from the nurses there at the San Diego Zoo. But look at this. Oh, you're gonna love this picture. Cuddling with Grandma. Mosi was 5 days old when his keepers moved him, along with Thelma and Louise, from the hospital to a behind-the-scenes area at the zoo. And there, Grandma Thelma cuddled Mosi for the first time. And you can see there, he clung to her tightly. As Mosi got older and stronger, he would get to spend longer periods of time with Thelma. Well, that's good news. There he is. Look at that. He's got his little cuddly animals there. Even though Thelma and Mosi liked to be together, he couldn't stay with her all the time. Mosi needed to be fed formula 8 times a day. When Mosi wasn't with his grandma, as you can see there, as I said, he had his favorite fuzzy toys, a rhinoceros and a monkey. And there he is drinking his milk. A very happy baby boy monkey because he has such good keepers there at the zoo, and of course his grandmother, Thelma. When keepers wanted to give Mosi to Thelma, speaking of, for snuggling, and grandma time, of course, they put him in what they called the Howdy Chute. It was a small pen with 2 doors. One opened into Thelma's area, and the other opened into the hallway where Mosi's incubator was located. After Mosi was fed, his keeper placed him in that chute, then closed the hallway door and opened Thelma's door, and she was always waiting for Mosi at the door, quickly scooping him up. That's love, right? That is really sweet. Sometimes it was hard for the keepers to convince Thelma to give Mosi back to them for his feedings. Thelma quickly learned that she would receive special treats, like sunflower seeds and grapes, when she let the keepers retrieve him. Now, who's this big boy right here? Can you see this guy right there? Who's that? That is Mosi's daddy, Vinny. Yeah, Vinny was keeping an eye on his little boy. He lived in the behind-the-scenes monkey area too, and he and Mosi could actually see each other through a mesh door that separated them. Mosi would get to meet his dad when he was a little older. You can see he's starting to grow, right? Look at that. His incubator was filled with toys. He was playful and curious, sometimes silly. If he wasn't snuggling with his stuffed animals, he was leaping around and exercising on his pull-up bar. Can you see that right there? Yep, his pull-up bar. He loved that. The tiny monkey became stronger and more confident every day. And in fact, look at that. His teeth started growing in after about 2.5 weeks, and then he started chewing on everything. He was funny. He also made funny faces. I'm going to show you that right now. Lots of funny faces. Can you see these? He's sticking his tongue out. Look at him. He's a funny boy. He was also climbing. See that? But I have to tell you, climbing was easy enough. Climbing up was good, he said. Well, he didn't say it, but he showed that he was scared trying to get down. The keepers knew it. That was his way of saying, I'm not sure I want to come down. I'm kind of scared to do that. So he chirped because he was scared. He wasn't sure how to get down, and Thelma, who was nearby, was concerned too, so she chattered. That's the way they speak, right? She was concerned about Mosi, so Keeper Jasmine rushed to help and comfort him. He wasn't afraid to climb again, though, and he got braver as he became more practiced. Because after all, isn't that what monkeys do? They love to climb and swing on things. Now, by the time Mosi was 3 weeks old, he moved to a much larger space with even more toys and taller branches. He easily scrambled from the lowest branch to the highest branch and back down again. Keeper Jasmine took him on a field trip to a huge outdoor enclosure where the grown-up monkeys played together. Wow. And Grandma Thelma, she was watching Mosi and Jasmine through a window. She was keeping a very close eye on what was going on. The keepers really liked seeing Mosi grow up and become more sure of himself. Look at him right there. He clung to his favorite toy monkey at first. It gave him comfort when his grandma wasn't there. But once Mosi became more at ease in the new area, he hopped from branch to branch, pausing every once in a while to, as you can see right here, chew on a leaf. Wouldn't you say Mosi was getting cuter and bigger every single day? Mealtime for Mosi, we know that was a very special time. In fact, it was his favorite part of the day. He loved his milk bottle and jumped up and down when it was time to eat. He was sweet and friendly most of the time, but every so often, well, he threw a tantrum. Mosi liked to eat so much that his keepers called him a chow hound. Once when he was extra hungry, I have to tell you this, he got angry when his keeper didn't pick him up fast enough to eat. Another time he was unhappy when he finished his bottle because he wanted more. The keepers enjoyed working with Mosi even when he was a little bit fussy. The spunky baby monkey held a very special place in everyone's heart. Aww. He was a happy little guy, absolutely. Oh, wait till you see this picture. Look at that. I'm going to tell you all about that. Some monkeys, like vervets, have a pouch in their cheeks to stash and store food. Right there, see? As Mosi grew older, he was introduced to solid foods like dried cranberries, grapes, broccoli, and sunflower seeds. Keeper Kim would offer him bits of food which he would gobble up. One day, she gave him a square piece of jicama. Mosi stuffed it inside his cheek pouch to save as a snack for later when he was back with Grandma Thelma. Kim smiled because she could see the square outline of the jicama in Mosi's bulging cheek. Mosi sometimes sucked his thumb just like human babies do. Yeah, did you suck your thumb when you were a baby? I know I did. My mom told me I did anyway. Look at this. There he is, just like a human, sucking his thumb right there. That gave him comfort too, made him feel good, right? Mosi was 2.5 months old when he began spending all of his time with his Grandma Thelma. He was slowly getting to know his mother Louise and his father Vinny, who lived nearby. Louise still wasn't very interested in Mosi, but Vinny played with him and even took naps with Mosi and Thelma. There he is, storing another snack in his cheek there. Always eating, that little guy. He ate mostly solid food now, as a matter of fact, just like his grandma, but he still drank a few bottles of milk each day, as you can see right there. Yeah, he loved that. When it was time to eat, keepers called his name. He sometimes had to wrestle himself away from Thelma. She was so protective and didn't always want to let him go. Mosi would scamper to the edge of his enclosure. He stayed inside while his keepers fed him from the hallway. Mosi often tried to hold the bottle himself, or he wrapped his tiny hand around his keeper's finger while he ate. Look at that. Look at that little hand there. Aw. He was holding on, saying, "Thank you so much for caring for me." Monkey moving day. Life was about to change for Mosi and Thelma and their family. Yep, it was time to move to their spacious new home in the zoo's Africa Rocks habitat. Keepers coaxed Mosi and Thelma into a travel kennel with treats, of course. Mosi stayed close to his grandma because he was unsure of what was happening. Then he became curious and watched as Louise and Vinny were carried out in their kennels. See that? When they were loaded into a van for the short trip, Mosi clung to Thelma once again. With his grandma by his side, he felt secure in this unusual situation. Mosi and his family spent the first day at their new home in an indoor area to get used to their surroundings. Mosi was still a little scared, but Thelma was close by in case he needed a hug. And the van that transported Mosi and his family to Africa Rocks was nicknamed the Monkey Mobile, of course. Take a look at this. There you see it, the Monkey Mobile right there. There's a little baby. Getting bigger all the time, though. There he is with his grandma. feeling very, very safe. That's what it was all about, right? Home in the trees. The next morning, a door slid open so Mosi, Thelma, Louise, and Vinny could go outside into their new forested home. Keeper April had placed food deep into the exhibit, hoping to draw the monkeys out to explore. And Mosi, of course, rode on Thelma's back, peeking around the corner of the rocks as they entered the exhibit. They did retreat back to the bedroom a few times, but they stayed out longer each time as they became more comfortable. Finally, Mosi's curiosity, well, it got the best of him. He jumped off of Thelma's back, bravely running and leaping through the exhibit, exploring every inch of it. He scrambled up a tree, climbed through the leaves, and even swung on a branch like a grown-up monkey. Take a look at that. Yep, Mosi was getting bigger and braver and stronger all the time. Mosi's new next-door neighbors, in fact, were big animals, leopards on one side and lemurs on the other. I think he was getting more and more comfortable, but wow, you talk about comfortable, this is big news. Mosi fits in. One day, shortly after they moved in, Mosi and his grandma Thelma sat together on a big rock. Louise had been carrying her brown ball around most of the morning. Suddenly, oh my goodness, suddenly Louise set the ball down to climb up next to Mosi, and then she started grooming him, which is what monkeys do when they want to be friends. Mosi's mother was finally paying attention to him and accepting him into the family. Can you see that? There she was grooming him, and grooming each other helps strengthen bonds between furbat monkeys. Oh, that's a lot of love right there. When the grooming session was finished, Mosi scampered up a tree to chew on a few leaves. He leaped out of the tree to snuggle with Grandma Thelma for a few minutes. Next, he climbed back up the tree to look at the zoo's visitors who were admiring his acrobatics. And you can do the same thing when you visit the San Diego Zoo because Mosi is there for you to see, and I'm sure he'd love to meet you. As Mosi's keepers watched him exploring and enjoying his new home, they smiled. Mosi had needed a helping hand from human caretakers until he was nearly 6 months old, but now he lives full-time with his furbat monkey family. He doesn't need his bottle anymore. He's a big boy, and he has all his family members, his mom and his dad, and of course, his grandma Thelma. The keepers felt happy. They knew that Mosi had all the confidence he needs to live an enriching life. One other thing they knew, Mosi will always have a very special bond with Thelma, his grandma, who cared for him right from the very start. The end. But really not the end, because they are all there at the San Diego Zoo right now. So one day when it's possible, maybe you can visit the zoo and go say hi to Mosi Musa and his family. Well, I sure hope that you enjoyed this book, listening to it as much as I did reading it to you. You take care now, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye-bye.